Well, hey everyone, today's video is going to be covering a bit more of a mature topic meant for 7th through 12th grade students. We believe it's important yet difficult of a topic to talk about. It's also a confusing topic, and we often hear many different conflicting messages about it. It's our hope that throughout this video series, you begin to realize that when it comes to this topic, there's more to the story. What's up, students? My name is Casey. Today, we're going to talk about sex. Yes, I know, it's a bit of a cringy topic, but I believe it's an important one for us to talk about. And I also believe that the church, and more specifically your group, should be the safest place in the world to talk about anything, including sex. We live in a world where the normal pattern of thinking is that sex is a casual thing. Many people, maybe even your friends, will say that it's no big deal. And when you talk to people who've experienced something and they tell you it's no big deal, the most logical thing seems to believe is that it's no big deal. And so when we get into a pattern of believing and thinking that sex is casual, you've probably never thought about it in those exact words, but maybe you've made all sorts of sexual jokes, you've sent inappropriate pictures to somebody, or you've pushed someone's boundaries, or even your own. Because you told yourself that it really isn't that big of a deal. When everyone around us is saying that sex is no big deal, it's easy for us to start believing that it is as well. But the truth is that sex isn't casual, no matter how casual you treat it. Now, my goal here today isn't to tell you what to think. I want to help you understand how to think when you hear two competing ideas about a subject that can affect your life so much. To do that, I want to look at something the Apostle Paul said in a letter to a group of Christians in Rome. Now, here's what you need to know about Rome at the time when Paul wrote this. The messages coming from Roman culture were not the same messages that Jesus had proclaimed. So when people started to follow Jesus in the Roman Empire, there was a tension between what was normal at the time and the life that Jesus invited them into. In fact, it's possible they were feeling the same sort of things that we are. Conflicting messages about God and what it means to follow Jesus. And chances are they felt some confusion over what was the real story and who they should believe. And so with that in mind, here's what Paul says. Do not conform to the pattern of this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind. Then you will be able to test and approve what God's will is, his good, pleasing, and perfect will. Romans 12:2. Paul is never one to dance around the point. He gets right to it. He's saying that there's a certain way the people around you live. There's a pattern, but that doesn't mean that you should conform to it. God is inviting you into something different. God isn't just asking you to believe something about him or about the world or how it came to be. He's asking you to live differently. He's asking you to treat yourself and others differently as a result. God doesn't just want to be a good idea to you. He wants to be the force that shapes the decisions that you make. A few verses later, Paul tells us this. Love must be sincere. Hate what is evil. Cling to what is good. Be devoted to one another in love. Honor one another above yourselves. Romans 12:9-10. Paul obviously isn't talking about sex or dating here, but that doesn't mean his advice doesn't apply to that area of our lives. He tells us to love and care about each other sincerely. That doesn't mean to pretend like you care about someone or be fake so you can get something from them. No, he tells the Romans and us to really love others, to hate what is evil, hate what is wrong, what is hurtful, and hang on to what is good. That's a different message than we're hearing in a culture of casual sex. God is inviting all of us to be transformed into something new, something better. God is calling us to be the kind of people who understand that how we treat another human being is never casual, no matter how casually people act about it. We have an invitation for us to be transformed, for our minds to be transformed, to think differently and refuse to conform to the way of thinking just because that's how everyone else thinks. In a culture of casual sex, there's more to the story. And Paul tells us to transform our minds beyond what culture tells us. But how? To start, you need to know that if you're feeling any shame over the things you've done in the past, there's no judgment here. Every one of us has done something we regret, something that we're not proud of, or something we wish we just wouldn't have done, or we wish we would have thought a little more thoroughly about. No one is better than anyone else. We're all created in the image of God, and we're all called to do what Paul is suggesting, no matter what our sexual history is. We can all be transformed and begin thinking in a new way. Look, I get it. Sex is a complicated topic. There are plenty of competing messages about what's okay, what's not, and how you should live. And that's why I think having a small group leader who's with you today is such a big deal. I want every person here to have a trusted adult that they can talk to about anything, someone who has your best interest in mind. It may be a little intimidating to bring things up at first, but if you have some things that you need to talk about, here's what I want you to know. Your leader is not going to be surprised. They're not going to judge you. They're going to help you and help you sort out why this is such a big deal. And so your small group leader signed up to be here no matter what the conversation is. And this one is included. They know sex isn't casual, no matter how casually it's treated. And they can help you figure out what matters for you now and in the future.